but I'll.
Welcome to Layer the Alchemist, and welcome to another edition of Sabbath Sunday. This is where Darren and I get together with you on Sundays to talk all things Black Sabbath. We weren't planning on this. We just got done recording our latest Into the Void of Black Sabbath podcast episode discussing the reunion album. And kind of at the end of that, we started talking about the pod. We brought up the Back to the Beginning show they've got coming up in July. We ended the podcast. We started talking about it. I said, you know what? Let's make a Sabbath Sunday on it right here. That's why I got a Judas Priest shirt on for Sabbath Sunday. We weren't planning on recording. Darren's always in a Black Sabbath shirt, so we never have to worry about that. But yeah, okay. So we thought we did discuss this on the last Sabbath Sunday. We talked about because it had just been announced at that time, and it seemed pretty exciting. But things have quickly taken a turn for, there's sirens going off, danger, danger, warning, signs going off here. And the first was, for me, was I heard an interview with Sharon where the interviewer asked about Bill. And she says, "Oh, well, Ozzy called up Bill, and Bill said, 'Yeah, I'll be there. And if I can play drums, I'll play. If not, I'll just be there.'" I thought, whoa, whoa, wait a minute. What do you mean Bill might not play? And then conveniently enough, after the tickets have been on sale, the very highly priced tickets, as we figured they would be, go on sale a day or two after that. Ozzy says, I forget what the exact quote is, but something to the extent of, "I'm going to just be singing bits and pieces with Black Sabbath," I think
Oh
is
man,
what he says. So all of a sudden, this thing has gone from like, this could be the coolest thing in the world to like, uh-oh, what is this? And for the fans that go on Facebook or look around on the Reddit and all that stuff, and you'll see a lot of people really PO'd. There's people out there that paid a lot of money for a ticket, that some people flying in for this, and everybody knew that Ozzy, we all knew that we weren't going to get a 90-minute Black Sabbath set. Me and you predicted 5 to 7
no
songs at the most, the
way.
greatest hits. We know we're not getting any deep cuts. We're going to get the Iron Man, Paranoid, all that stuff. We already all expected that. But now this whole thing about, "I'm just going to be singing a little bit with Black Sabbath or something," has really made people like, oh boy, what exactly is this thing going to be? Darren, what are your thoughts?
Well, so when we did our initial, we uh, Sabbath Sunday on the Back to the Beginning thing, I was optimistic, and I think you were too. We were supportive of the idea, trying to stay positive. We knew that, well, it's probably only going to be a few songs, and Ozzy's supposed to be doing a solo set too, and then that's going to be challenging for him to do a solo set and then and do even a short Sabbath set. And but we're fans, and we want to support the band, and we want to support the idea and the sentiment behind it. But then it was like about a week later, or even less, when it came out in the press that Ozzy then said, "Well, I'm probably not even going to do a full song with Black Sabbath. I'm going to just do bits and pieces." And it's like, well, wait a minute. This thing is called Back to the Beginning. There's a picture of the band. I mean, the intent here was that this is going to be the four original members on stage again, say farewell to the band. So as it turns out, it doesn't seem like that's what it's going to be at all. It sounds like it's going to be a bunch of other bands celebrating the music of Black Sabbath, which in concept is kind of cool, but it wasn't what people signed on for, wasn't what we were led to believe it was going to be. And you made mention that it's going to turn into a circus. And I thought, well, why not? It's okay. As long as at the center of the circus is the original four core members of
Yeah.
the band Black Sabbath. Well, you take that out and you leave the circus in, then it's annoying. Then it's like, it's not, it is a bait and switch. The other thing that's annoying is, and I made a mention of this in the video that we did, where you saw Sharon and Tony standing there in the arena, and she's holding up a sports jersey and it says Black Sabbath on it. And at that point I wasn't as alarmed by that, because I know that Black Sabbath, the name, is basically, it's
Yeah.
the ownership of Sharon and Tony. So it's like, well, okay. But then, so that was annoying, but kind of let it slide. After that, there was some spots, some videos of her and Tony being interviewed by some guy. I'm not sure who he was. and they're talking about Bill, and I think the interviewer says, well, you last time for the end, Bill wasn't involved, but now he is, and he's like, and then Tony pipes in, he's like, yeah, but now we're not going to be involved, and then they're laughing. Then Sharon's like, yeah, we're just going to leave Bill on stage in his red tights, and it's kind of funny, but on the other hand, it's kind of disrespectful. I mean, now, I mean, they're brothers.
Right.
They've known each other forever. Um, but it what it says to me is like we're not even taking this seriously, you know. And there's a lot of people that are taking it seriously. There's a lot of people spent a lot of money and are really were excited about doing this. And I feel bad
Yeah.
because I think they were led on to something that I don't think it's going to be. And I think as time, and we said at the end of our video that we'll check in. Well, here we are, we're checking in, and man, it's gotten worse, and we're still quite a ways away from July. So who knows what's in store? But at this point, we know that we're not going to be getting a lot of substance from the original four members of Black Sabbath, and that's alarming. That's concerning. That's disappointing, and that's where I am. I'm really disappointed with this. Um, and Bob Daisley came out and said that he had no intention of participating. He wasn't asked, but it wouldn't matter because he wouldn't be interested in participating anyway, with anyone on to say that it could very well be embarrassing. And when I read that at the time, I was like, oh, well, that's not very nice. That's probably not a good thing to say. But now, as things are moving along, I think he's right. I think it is going to be embarrassing. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be a really bad way for the band. We thought 13 was a bad way for the band to leave things. I think this is going to be worse.
And
I think it's going to be, and I hope I'm wrong. Believe me,
yeah.
I want to support this so badly. I want to be positive. I want to be optimistic. But man, there's just not a lot of things I'm seeing that are allowing me to be optimistic about it. I'm pretty negative about it, and I'm really disappointed. As a fan, I'm disappointed.
Yeah. And I
You
know
know,
that people are going to say Ozzy has serious health issues at this point in his life. Absolutely. We're sensitive to that. We know that.
hell yeah,
That's why, in my opinion, what they should have done is they should have called this a celebration of Black Sabbath. And what they should have said was is that the original four guys are going to be there, right? And they could have just put it out there that like, look, Ozzy's health, uh, they're not going to be able to perform. And what they could have done was is they could have maybe leaked it out. The band could have maybe gotten it. Now imagine if it was a celebration of Black Sabbath and they deliberately put out a leak to everybody to start a rumor that the band might get up at the end and play one or two songs. Okay. Or imagine this. Imagine uh celebration of Black Sabbath and you've got James Hetfield and just I don't know, people from guys on stage and they get up with and Ozzy sings some of a song, or he's singing along with them or something. And that would almost be like endearing, like, look, these guys, they don't have their health is at a point where they can't do this anymore, and but we're celebrating the band. And even if Ozzy just came out and was just out there, it would feel okay because it would feel like it's a tribute to the band. It's a celebration of the band. We're not expecting them to get up and do anything. If they can, all the better. Or maybe the band gets up then and Ozzy's there and somebody's helping Ozzy sing. Everybody would be okay with that. But again, this was put out like as if they were going to perform.
right.
Everybody knows that Ozzy has health issues. Most people know that Bill has serious health issues also. So we were all not expecting the world from it, but we were at least given the impression that the original four guys were going to do a couple songs at least.
Yeah,
I would say minimum two to three, maximum five to seven, right? That's kind of betting odds. So to do this kind of weird thing that they conveniently bring up, you can't tell me that they didn't deliberately do this after the tickets had already been on sale.
Yeah.
Ozzy saying, "Well, I'm just going to do bits and pieces." Because if he had said that before the tickets had gone on sale, that would have probably affected uh,
Ticket sales.
ticket
Yeah.
sales. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's why it makes it feel like it's kind of, what exactly is happening here? I've heard now, uh, Jakey Lee is on this, and everybody's thinking like, oh, Jake's getting up with Ozzy. Whoa, it doesn't say that anywhere on the thing. It just says Jakey Lee is there. So he may be
Yeah.
part of one of these groups of people that they're just going to put together to do some Sabbath tunes. And again, are they intentionally doing these things? I mean, it could be. Again, here's another example. Like, let's say they had Jakey Lee, because I thought I read somewhere that Jake and Rudy Sarzo are going to be doing something together. So imagine Tommy Aldridge, Jakey Lee, Rudy Sarzo, insert what am I missing in the mix here? Bass, guitar, drums. All right, vocals. Imagine somebody else is up there on vocals and they start doing Bark at the Moon and Ozzy comes out to sing along and to do the Bark at the Moon. He just comes out and just does that, right? When it's a
Yeah.
celebration of Black Sabbath. Imagine how that would be cool. That would be okay. Nobody would be angry. Everybody would be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, we never expected them to sing or do anything or the band to do anything. But here, how cool Ozzy comes out while they're doing it, and Ozzy's up there, banging his head, bark at the moon, maybe Phil Anselmo's singing it or something, and he hands the mic to Ozzy to sing that line, right? I mean, it would be cool. Everybody would dig that. It would be understandable. It would be acceptable. Everybody would be fine with that. So if they were more clear on this, since this is a celebration of Black Sabbath, and we're putting together super groups that are going to be playing, it's going to be a day-long tribute to the legacy of Black Sabbath. The guys are going to be there. And they could have just left it vague like that. The guys
Yeah.
will be there. No mention of them necessarily performing. And then they can play it by ear where, maybe they do feel like they can get up and do a song or two. They can get up and
Sure.
do that. And then at that point, it's just an amazing surprise. Like, oh my God, nobody was expecting them to play. We've seen
Yeah.
them through the night. Iommi comes out with Brian May and they're doing, I don't know what, they're rocking out on something, some song in a super group. Geezer
Yeah.
comes out with the guys in Metallica to do Hole in the Sky or something. I mean, how cool would Bill comes out to do something with, I don't know, some other group or have something, or it could have been done in a really kind of fun, cool way like that. But now it's already starting to sort of put this like, it's got this thing over it now that people are starting to feel nervous and worried and like, okay, what is this going to be? Is it going to turn into some just sort of money grab type of thing? And I know there's people, again, from looking on Facebook and Reddit, there's people that are pissed off because they're like, I bought a I bought the ticket and I've already booked a hotel and I'm flying
Yeah.
in for this. And I was
Feel so bad.
expecting to hear, the original
Yeah.
band play a couple songs. And now I don't know what this is going
No.
to be.
Because you want to trust you know, the promo. I mean, you want to trust Tony Iommi when he's, out there and he's promoting it. You may not trust Sharon Osbourne. That should have been everybody's first clue into maybe there's more in store. Some bad news is going to be coming out, and she's like a bad penny. But Tony Iommi was there. I was like, hey, Tony Iommi, cool. We didn't hear anything from Ozzy, and I highly suspect that Ozzy is in worse health than most of us are aware of. I don't know when the last time we saw Ozzy. Occasionally, we'll see some pictures and things like that, but I mean, uh,
Yeah,
I don't think I've seen anything real recent that I can recall of Ozzy. I think his health is like really, really bad. I don't think Ozzy's. I hate to
possibly.
say it. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think Ozzy's long for this world. So, and Sharon, I mean, I don't know her personally, but based on the evidence, I'm guessing she's just trying to milk this cow for all he's worth. And then, And this is one of the ways that she's doing it, and it's more unfortunate. But it's unfortunate to everybody. It's unfortunate to the fans because the fans have basically spent money and had their hopes on something that probably isn't going to most likely isn't going to happen. It's also it's bad for the original four members of the band because I don't like Bob Daisley said it's going to be embarrassing. It's going to make them look bad.
And
It's
it
not going to
won't
be
be
the way that I think
embarrassing.
people want to remember the band. Go
Yeah,
ahead, John.
and it won't be embarrassing if people would be okay if Ozzy gets up and let's say he's struggling to sing. He's sitting down because he can't stand up, but the crowd is helping him out and the crowd is singing along with it. And it's this kind of thing. But again, it feels like there's some false advertising here, or there was a bait and switch, or there's, it's then yeah, it just doesn't feel right. And it's everybody's
No,
suspicious and nervous, and instead it should be something where everybody's excited about, and there are people that are excited about it. And I hope that it does work out. I don't want it to come across like, we hope that this thing fails. I hope that it goes well. I want, you just said Ozzy, he's dealing with some very serious health issues. So yeah, I would nothing more to love to see Ozzy up there with a smile on his, even if Ozzy's up there and the crowd is singing the song and he's just up there with a smile on his face. I mean, if that's what it has to be, just as long as it's some kind of uh, positive vibe to take this thing out. I just think that it already, the way they were sort of promoting it, I don't think they handled it the right way. I think they should have maybe promoted this in a different way, and then people would have understood and would have been okay with whatever they got out of it. I just think that now it's like got everybody sort of a little bit on edge, and I hope it goes well because I don't want the final memory of these four guys together to be something like this. That's why I just wish they had done, let it be a celebration of Black Sabbath. Maybe the guys, they set them up on the stage on these big elaborate throne chairs and they're sitting there while people get up and pay tribute to them. I mean, that would have been cool enough for me. I mean, anything to just, I hope it's a proper send off. I guess that's all. I hope that it isn't something that does look like circus like or anything like that. I hope it's done with a sense of respect and reverence to the band and to the fans and to everything and whatever these guys can do, whatever they can contribute, Ozzy and Bill, at this point, whatever. I
I
just hope that it's done respectfully and that it goes out, has them go out the right way, you know.
I worry that this isn't going to be the last or the worst thing that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I worry that Sharon isn't, after these guys have all passed away, that she isn't going to have them taxidermied, that she isn't going to have them stuffed and put them on a stage and have Black Sabbath music playing in the background and charge people thousands of dollars to see it. I mean, forget about a hologram. That's a Wendy Dio thing. That could be tame by comparison to what Sharon's capable of. I would not be surprised if at some point when these guys pass it, they're going she'll have Ozzy taxidermied in a chair and charge people to see it. I wouldn't be surprised. It's that bad. And you're right. I mean, they should have been honest with people. They should have said, look, it's the time for the band to play, unfortunately, has come and gone, but we're going to do a, something very tasteful. We're gonna respect the band. We're going to cherish the legacy, and we're going to have some bands that are going to participate in that, and it's going to be good, and it's going to be something more of a tribute, not necessarily a performance. It's going to be a tribute, not a performance. The performance part was what was pushed out there,
Yeah.
and it was very misleading, and that's what pisses me off. And I want to be positive, like you said. I mean, I'm not waiting in the wings for more bad news. I hope this is it. I hope there isn't something else that comes out that isn't going to make this even worse. Probably not. This is probably about as bad as it's going to get. But again, I do feel bad for the people. I mean, my wife and I talked about it. She's like, "Well, how much would it cost?" I'm like, "Oh no, it's no and no." Because even if it was on the up and up, I still in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, it's not. Something's going to happen. It's not. It's not going to come off the way that it
Yeah.
should. Something's going to happen. It was just the whole Bill Ward thing seemed tentative. And Ozzy now, we really haven't heard much about Bill Ward, but it's still as tentative as it was initially. Ozzy's definitely tentative. He's even saying that he's not even going to do it. He's only going to do bits and pieces. So that takes the whole performance thing, or the 3 or 4 song set, or whatever we had
Oh,
hoped. That takes that completely off the table. There isn't going to be a set, you know. So I mean, what are we left with? We're left by performances of other bands playing tribute to playing tribute to Metallica, playing tribute to the Black Sabbath,
yeah.
and that's nice, but that's not what we were led to believe. If that had initially been what was introduced and what was presented, then sure, fine, okay, you decide if you want to be part of that, if you want to check that out, or if you don't. But that wasn't how it was presented. It was just presented as this is the last concert for
Yeah.
Black Sabbath, not it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to hope for the best here. This is the second Sabbath Sunday we've done on the Back to the Beginning. Uh, let's see if we have an. I'm sure we'll have another one at least at the minimum after they do the show. But we're going to hold out hope here that this somehow is going to straighten itself out and that it'll go beyond our expectations and maybe we'll be surprised in some way, in some real pleasant way. It'll be an emotional night or something like that. There'll be something that'll be done to make this feel real respectful and a nice
I
closure to
hope
the
so.
band. But
I
at the
hope so.
moment, we're not, we're a little bit unsure, we're going to say at the moment, but we're going to put our trust in heavy metal and Black Sabbath here and hope that this all goes off the right way because we do want it. Look, we're Black Sabbath fans. We want this to go off the right way.
Yep.
We love this band. We want them to have a proper send off. We always said that 13 felt like an unclosed book, that there
Yeah.
was just something incomplete about that. So we do really want the best. We want this to go well. So here's to hoping that it does. And all right, so let us know what you guys think down below. Let us know your thoughts on the whole latest update on the Black Sabbath back to the beginning. Let us know in the comments down below, and we'll see you at the next Sabbath Sunday.